friends. Thanks for joining me today for another STEAMkids activity and experiment from the Washington County Public Library. I am so excited for today's lesson and activity. Today we are going to learn about the science of sound. We're going to learn a little bit about how music is made, and then we're going to make our very own homemade harmonicas. While this may not look super fancy right now, by the end you're going to have a playable instrument that you can use at home. Let me demonstrate mine. It's pretty fun. And so we're going to learn about how this is made, how this makes sound, and how our brains can understand it. So in order for there to be sound, there's a couple of ingredients that we need. The very first one is something that the sound can travel through. And here, it's air. The sound is going to travel through the air, squishing and pushing apart different air particles. But sound can also travel through other things, including water. Have you ever heard anything or tried to speak when you're underwater in a swimming pool? You can kind of hear it. It's not as good, but you can definitely still hear some sound underwater. The next thing we need is something that makes sound. And sound is caused by something vibrating. So here I have a picture of a drum. A drum makes sound by the very top of the drum, called the drum skin, vibrating really quick or really slow. And that is what creates sound. And the other thing that we need for sound? Our ears. Our ears are super special, made just for picking up noise and picking up sound. So we need our ears to make sense of what sounds we're hearing. So here I have a demonstration of how sound is made. Things make sound when they vibrate, like I said. This drum vibrates when someone taps on it. And like a wave through water, sound travels through the air. And then we hear sound when the wave hits our ears, and it also vibrates our eardrums. And then our brains can understand what that vibration, what that feels like, what it sounds like. It's very interesting. It's a very complicated process, but us humans are great at hearing things. And so are a bunch of different animals. Here I have a graph of a bunch of different sound waves. This is how we measure sound. By looking at these waves, we can understand what's happening. So this very bottom one in this pinky purple color, they are really frequent. There is a high frequency. Frequency means how often something is happening. And there's a whole bunch of those bumps in the wave. So that means it is very frequent, or it has a high frequency. And frequency for us is like pitch. Do you know what the pitch of something is? The pitch is how high or how low something is. Can you make a really high noise? Can you talk up here like this? And then if you talk really, really deep all the way down here, you have a low pitch. And so the really, really low one is the very top one, the red one, because it's very infrequent, or there's not a lot of bumps. And then we have all the waves in between. But also, that's something that's interesting that you can learn from this graph is that all of these waves are the same volume, because they are all the same height. All those waves, all those bumps are all the same height. If they were taller, that would mean it's louder. So the cool thing about music is it's just sound, but our brains think it's pretty sound. That may be a little oversimplified, but that's generally how it works. Our brains like certain sounds, and those sounds we call music. a bunch of different things can make music. We have a ton of different types of instruments that we as humans use in order to create music. One of the most common ones is a guitar. A guitar makes music by vibrating the strings. Another type of instrument is called a wind instrument. These are things like flutes or trumpets. So these make sound and make music by forcing air through different holes. And the different holes will squish the air and squish the sound to make a certain sound. And our final kind of instrument is a percussion instrument, like our drum, that causes sound by vibrating a thin layer really fast or really slow. So now that we know a little bit about how sound is made, how our ears can pick it up, and a little bit about how music is made, we can make our own super cool musical instrument. So in front of me, I have all the items that are included in your kit that you picked up from the library. You are going to have 2 big, thick popsicle sticks. And these can also make sound by hitting them together. But that's not what we're doing today. So you've got your 2 popsicle sticks. You are also going to have 2 small rubber bands. These are your standard size rubber bands. You'll have 2 of them. You're also going to have a thick rubber band. Mine is blue. Yours might be a different color, but you're going to have a thicker size rubber band. And finally, you're going to have 2 little pieces of a straw. So here is how we put together our harmonica. You're going to take your first big popsicle stick and your big rubber band, and you are going to put the rubber band over the popsicle stick. It can be kind of hard to stretch it, but you should be able to get the popsicle stick inside the rubber band. That's exactly what you want. The next thing we're going to do is take one of our straws, and we're going to slip it inside the rubber band up against the popsicle stick. So it looks like this. We've sandwiched it in between. Okay. Now we've got it like this. We're going to take our other piece of straw, and how we've stuck this one underneath, we're going to leave this one on top. So we're not going to sandwich it in under the rubber band. We're going to leave it just like this, so it's on top. So it could roll away, but we're going to sandwich it with the other popsicle stick. This can be kind of tough. Makes you want another pair of hands. All right, so I'm just holding these together. But this is what it should look like. Your rubber band should be making a diagonal line in between your 2 popsicle sticks. All right, so now we're going to fasten it all together so it doesn't fall apart. We're going to take our 2 thin rubber bands, and I'm going to hold this guy so that our things don't fall apart. And I'm going to wrap my rubber band around the end just so it stays on. All right, so this part is secured. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see. All right, so now I have my 2 straws. One's under the rubber band, one is on top of the rubber band, and then we've got our 2 popsicle sticks and a rubber band's holding it together. And that's it. We have a harmonica. So the way this works in creating music and sound is by vibrating the big rubber band in the middle. It's really, really cool. So let's try it like this with your straws pushed all the way to the edges of the rubber bands. You want to blow through it. You want to use your breath and blow through these 2 popsicle sticks. So, yeah, that was super cool. It made a really low sound because the straws are far apart. Think of it like that big wave that we saw earlier. The red one on top was low because the wave was super far apart. We're doing the same thing here. We can change the frequency or the pitch of our sound by moving them closer together. As you move them close together, make sure that you're blowing through to the rubber band. You don't want to blow through the straws. That's not going to make the noise. We want to vibrate the rubber band by blowing in between them. Just like that. And you can move these around to continue to get different pitches because the rubber band vibrates at a different frequency. So now you have a super cool homemade harmonica. I hope that you have a lot of fun in creating this and getting to create your own music. Thank you so much for picking up this kit from the Washington County Public Library. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!